Today's lesson is on surface area of prisms. But let's back up a little bit and quickly review what area is. Area is a measurement in 2 dimensions. Now, I have a few videos for you to look at here, but let's do a quick little review. What is area? Well, for example, let's say you had a room like this and you wanted to know how much floor you need. You might measure the floor. Well, it doesn't do you any good to measure just the length, because this is a 2-dimensional measurement. You want to know how much space it's occupying in 2 dimensions, just like a flat piece of paper. Okay? Now, what we're going to do today is talk about surface area. Surface area is the area of all the surfaces. So instead of just finding the area of the floor, for example, you may also want to know, well, what is the area of this wall? And what is the area of this wall? It's the area of all of the surfaces. Okay, so let's recall a little bit of surface area. In grade 9, you spent quite a bit of time finding the surface area of prisms. What are prisms? Well, prisms are 3-dimensional shapes, and there are lots of different shapes. And you may have learned how to find the surface area of prisms using a formula. Personally, I think this is a road you don't want to travel. There are so many shapes that it would be impossible for you to learn every formula. I think it makes more sense to calculate the surface area using what you might call common sense. And so let's take a look at what I mean by that. We'll look here at a prism. What kind of prism is this? This is called a triangular prism. If you look over here on the right, this is the net of that shape. And you see here, when you take apart that triangular prism, you have a bunch of different shapes. These are all shapes you know the area for. A rectangle, base times height. A triangle, base times height divided by 2. And so it makes more sense, rather than learning a formula for every single prism, we just take a look at the net. In other words, each individual surface area. Same with the rectangular prism. So you look at that and you go, okay, what's the formula for that? You don't need the formula. Instead, we'll take it apart and we'll look at the fact that it's just a bunch of rectangles and maybe squares. Okay, so we're going to use this to calculate surface area. If you have some time and you're still not quite sure what a prism is, I encourage you to go to this website. I'll show you where the links are in a second. But this has some interesting little activities for you to do here. There's a video to watch, and there's also an interactive activity right here. So it asks you to match which one of these nets fits this shape. So for example, I can take a look at this shape. Which net is it? Oh, okay, now I see it's, is it this one? Yeah, check mark. Okay, so, we're going to be looking at some of these different shapes. You have a pyramid here, a cylinder, a cone. See if you can figure out what the nets are for each of those. That will help you with surface area. Okay, where are those links? I put them right here. This is looking at 3D nets of prisms. And then this is looking at, there's actually some pyramids there too. And we're going to get into pyramids. They're a little bit different than prisms. Again, one of the reasons why I don't like formulas, I prefer looking at the different nets. So looking at this shape, it's a rectangular prism. Instead of thinking what is the formula, let's take a look at what shapes we have. Well, the front of this prism is 5 by 3.5. Can you find the area of that? Absolutely. Base times height, 5 times 3.5, and you get 17.5 meters squared. What about the right side? That's this piece right here. It says it's 4 meters on the bottom, 3.5 meters high. Can you find the area of that? Absolutely. 4 times 3.5 you're going to get 14 meters squared. And then let's look at the top of the shape. Again, you have to visualize turning the shape around, and you're going to see that. What does it look like? 5 times 4, area is 5 times 4, 20 meters squared. I'm going to stop there. Why? Are there only 3 sides on that prism? Well, no, but the front is the same as the back. The right side is the same as the left side. And the top is the same as the bottom. It won't always be like that, but in a rectangular prism it is. So what is the surface area? The surface area is the area of all of the surfaces. How many surfaces are there? There are 6. So I've got the front and the back. I've got the left side and the right side. And I've got the top and the bottom. Okay, so adding those all up, you get 35 plus 28 plus 40. And that's going to be 68, 98, 103 meters squared. Now it's possible some of you are looking at that and saying, well, I know a different way to do it. Yes, there are other ways to do it. But this is the way I'm suggesting that you try to look at all of the different faces.